Welcome to Deep Thought. Your mate is a mirror, right? Now, check it out, right? Check it out. For those who listen to the Insecure reviews that I've done this season with Miss Mocha Angel, she brought up something very interesting in the last review that we did, right? And she was talking about how the main character Issa was basically getting in relationships with herself. It wasn't about the men she was dealing with, but these men were a reflection of her. And that's why I'm even talking about this on the Deep Thought channel, because that's a big thing when we talk about relationships. And actually, relationships is a spiritual thing anyway. For people who really know, spiritual growth actually comes through relationships, how we relate to each other. And it's a very important thing. That's why in Asian countries, you know, they start off conversations and stuff bowing to each other, or at least, you know, the ones that still do it, because they understand it's a relationship. So it's like, you know, even if it's like a brief one, it means something. Now, when I say your mate is a mirror, I always said this. I can look at somebody and tell everything about them. If I want to know, well, let me say that better. If I want to know something, get an idea about anybody and what they really think of themselves and what they value, all I have to do is look at their mate. They can tell you anything. A person can tell you anything. But if you want to know about someone, look at who they find attractive. And that will tell you everything. Look at who they mate at, and that will tell you everything about them, right? Now, a lot of people don't like hearing that, you know, because, you know, that's along the lines of like attracts like, and, you know, law of attraction and everything you attract. But it's a real thing. Like, you got a lot of women out here who call men dusty, right? They say, all these men are dusty, and they keep running into dusty men. But then if you look at the woman, she looks like a dusty woman. You know, or they wondering why do he keep attracting all these crazy guys? Like, I know a older woman, she attracts the same type of guys she attracted when she was younger and on drugs. It's a lot of craziness when you attract that. It's like, and it goes across the board. Like, if you attract somebody will say, well, why do you attract prudish people? Or these would, like, some dudes like, well, these women are all prudish and stuff. Right? It was like, well, what you really feel about sex? Or, you know, guys who think everything is about money, you know, and those are the main ones they complain about, gold diggers. You know, that's a reflection. You put that premium on money, so the women who find you attractive put that premium on money as well. You know, so if you, like, every time somebody has a problem in relationships, the first place to look is themselves. And this ain't something I'm just telling people. I've looked at myself and continue to look at myself. If I'm like saying, wait a minute, this is what I'm getting. Wait a minute, let me look at myself, right? Because that's the biggest thing with relationships and people changing the type of people they get or they complain. Like, I knew met this young lady, right? And I got 1,000 examples. And she kept complaining, I keep attracting all these losers, right? But I looked at her and I was just like, nothing about you stands out. You know, I don't see. She thought just because she had a job and a decent apartment, she had it going on. I was like, no. Or this other woman I met. Now she looked. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I know I had to mention her before because she's memorable. Because she looked just like Wanda from In Living Color. For the older heads, y'all remember when Jamie Foxx used to like put on that dress and play the ugly woman. And this woman just looked just like her. But she couldn't figure out why she kept attracting all these like knuckleheads and guys just using her for sex and everything. And I could have just told her part of her problem is that's all she really presented to a man, because she wasn't really a nice person. She was very arrogant. Like, my first encounter with her, right? She came off as just very arrogant and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, Well, you probably attract like got men of similar character. People have to understand that your mate is always going to be a reflection of you. And this is something not just on a subconscious basis, but you got to think about this on another level, right? Like a woman needs to think about the type of guy that she's attracted to, because it's reflecting something in her to deal with this type of person. Because if you see some traits in that person that you don't like, it's something about those traits you don't like in yourself. Those traits are in you. We project. See, let me go a little deeper. Right? This is the Deep Thought channel, and I've talked about this. I'm gonna give y'all a little tidbit of some stuff I've talked about in like some on-demand videos that I've done. And this is the deep thing about sexuality. Period. Right? See, I would just ask people have an open mind when I'm saying this, right? But according to many indigenous cultures, you know, we don't just start off at birth, but rather we start off in the spirit world, right? When we're in the spirit world, we're both male and female. We have traits of both. But when we come to earth, when we're born, when we incarnate into a body, we have we can only be one or the other sex, even though, and I personally, I think that's something's happened in the last few years that's why people want to change it, because on a deep level they just feel like they're the other sex. But so say a spirit comes in, they incarnate in a male body. But the female traits are still there, but they're buried. They're buried deep within, right? So every man has a female buried deep within the subconscious. Every female has a male buried deep within her subconscious. When we have the desire to mate, we're really just projecting that buried deep part, the sexual id, onto members of the opposite sex. You know? And even in cases of homosexual relationships, we projecting that energy. Like in any homosexual relationship, one person is always going to have a more masculine energy, the other is going to have a more feminine energy. So we always doing that. So whatever we are, we subconsciously projecting the female equivalent. Now understand something about that, right? It don't mean they're the exact same thing. Like if you're a male, you're not typically you're not looking for male traits, but you're looking for complementary traits. For example, if you're a paternal person, father type of person, right? You know, you take care of everybody, you that warrior, family protector. Your id is the woman. Listen to what I'm saying. Your id is the woman that you would have been if you were born a female. Right? And so let me give you 4 great examples for people who follow me a long time. You know, I talk about the house of the man and the house of the woman. And these houses are 4 pillars in each gender that are a basic part of each, you know, each human being has all 4. But in most human beings, at best, one might be developed, while the other 3 parts are suppressed. So whatever one is developed the most, whichever one is the strongest, people will look for that corresponding thing. For example, with the house of the woman, one part is the moon archetype, and that's the maternal instinct. She will have the strongest attraction for a warrior who will protect that family. Like the woman with the moon archetype, she's the one who wants to have a baby, have the family, have the nest and everything, right? Her opposite would be the warrior. Her opposite would be the warrior, the one who protects that nest. So her id would typically be more the paternal type. Like you get those maternal type of women, you know, family orientated types. They typically don't want the playboy or that person out working all the time. They want that guy who's going to spend some time with the family and the kids. right? Or if you get the man who's an eagle, you know, and his strongest thing is logical thinking, he's going to have a natural attraction. His id will represent that woman who's more intellectual. And if you look at a lot of guys who are very intellectual, no matter what, they always had a strongest attraction for a woman who is on the same thing. Not on the same thing, but more mental. Even they might not realize it at first. You know, even if in this id thing, it goes beyond just mere physical attraction. It is a deeper attraction on all levels. Like, for instance, when I talked about the moon woman, she might meet a warrior type of man, paternal type of man, but he might not be her quote unquote type, but she will have an attraction for him on a deeper level than she even realizes, because he represents the id. The id isn't, the id isn't always a physical thing. It can be, though. That's a deeper conversation, right? And so on and so on. So like the money making guy, he's going to have a natural attraction for the woman who is good with managing money and can help him make the money. They're going to have it, even if, like I say, even if the physical attraction isn't as strong, right? And then the party, if you look at the party girl gets along best with the party man. But that's the whole id thing. See, your mate is always going to be a mirror. Right. And so if you having bad relationships now and you stuff, instead of getting mad at the women saying, oh, they just like bad boys and thugs, and the women just saying, oh, these guys just no good, look at yourself. Because once you deal with whatever it is, look at it like this. Here's a way of doing it. Look at the negative stuff you don't like about the opposite sex. Look at the negative stuff and then look in the mirror. It's that simple. You look in the mirror and say, hold up, let me change this about myself. And here's the beauty of it. Once you start changing the negative stuff within, you'll notice your relationships will change overnight. Literally overnight. Every little change, the more it could be a gradual change, then it'll be gradual. But you'll notice, like, when I say overnight, it can literally be that dramatic. But, you know, of course, it's hard for people to do it like that. So, you know what? You're still going with it. So, anyway, right? Always remember that your mate is a mirror. Y'all have a great day now. Peace and blessings.